guys? It's your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Pickdroppers, back at it again with a Week 10 projection video. On this video, I am going to be going over some of the Week 10 games and who I think is going to win and what's going to happen in the game. Now, the first game I really want to talk about is the Washington Redskins versus the Minnesota Vikings. Now, both these teams have a winning record, and both these teams are pretty good teams. They both have a very good chance of winning their division, the Vikings more so. And the Vikings right now are playing for first place, and they're trying to stay in first place because right now the Detroit Lions are chasing their tails. It's definitely going to come down to the wire, and I think Minnesota will win. I think Washington's offense is just too stale. Their run game hasn't really been going. Dustin Hopkins, if you guys remember, missed the kick to win the game in overtime. I think he might be thinking that. He might miss a field goal or two, maybe an extra point. And I don't think the Redskins' defense is going to be able to play well enough to really force Sam Bradford into turnovers. And I think that might be the reason why they lose this game. Now, the next game I really want to talk about is Pittsburgh versus Dallas. Now, I will be talking about this a lot more on Sunday, and I do think Pittsburgh will get the win. The reason I say that is because whenever they're the home team, Pittsburgh plays amazing, and I think Pittsburgh's defense is going to be able to stop the run, especially with Cam Hayward coming back. That's going to be huge, and I do think Big Ben and Antonio Brown are going to have huge games, same as Le'Veon Bell, and I do think the Steelers will get that win. I will talk about that more later in the week. Now, the next game that I really want to talk about is actually Denver versus the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints have been playing amazing on offense the last couple of weeks. Their huge problem is defense. They can't play defense to save their life. And I really feel bad for Drew Brees because if he had pretty much any other team, he would be on a playoff run. It's just his defense is so bad, and Drew Brees is easily a Hall of Famer in my eyes. He's just played so well with such bad teams for so many years, and he's about to get another 4,000 yards for how many seasons in a row? 10 seasons in a row. He's going to get over 4,000 yards. He might even get 5,000. And his number one wide receiver is Brandon Cooks, who's really good. And his number two is a guy named Willie Snead. And he's really, really bad. And I think him and Tom Brady do a really, really good job at playing with nobodies and turning them into somebodies. And I think that's going to be a really interesting game to watch. And I want to see how he's going to be able to do, Drew Brees is going to be able to do against Denver's cornerbacks, because Denver has some of the top cornerbacks in the league. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. See if Denver's also going to be able to stop the run, because New Orleans can't be one-dimensional too much. They're really going to need to get Mark Ingram going, getting him going on the run game. And so that will open up the passing game. And I do think that New Orleans will win this game because it's a home game. And I think New Orleans is really, really good at home. And I think they'll find a way to get the win and be able to beat New Orleans, even though New Orleans does have such a good defense. But it still will be a very interesting game to watch. I'm definitely going to be happy to see whoever wins that game. I do want New Orleans to win, though, because I don't really like Denver, and I don't want to see them in the playoffs, especially as a Steelers fan, because Denver is one of the top teams. As you guys know, that's not even debatable. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens in that game. Now, the next game I really want to talk about is Kansas City versus Carolina. Now, Kansas City has been rolling of late. They're definitely one of the top teams in the the AFC. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see if Carolina's going on a streak, if they're going to be able to clinch out a playoff run. They're definitely going to need to go 7-0 in their next 7 games, or 8-0 in their next 8 games, or 7-1 to even if they want to make the playoffs, because they dug such a big hole for themselves. And it's going to be a huge test against Kansas City. I do think Carolina will win again because they are the home team, and the home team usually wins. And Arrowhead is really hard to play in, but so is Carolina Stadium. And I think Carolina will get their 3rd win in a row. And I think they're starting to catch some momentum. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, the next game I really want to talk about really quickly is the game between Cincinnati and the Giants. I do think the Giants will win that game. Cincinnati, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how well they are able to play for this upcoming week and see if they can get control of their division. And upset of the week, I do have the Browns winning their first game of the year. And then the last game I want to talk about is Seattle versus New England. I do think that the New England Patriots will win. I do want to see how Seattle's defense is going to be able to play. It's definitely going to be interesting to see this rematch between the Super Bowl 2 years ago with Malcolm Butler. You guys know what happened. Malcolm Butler caught the game-winning interception. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see if Tom Brady throws an interception, because he has not thrown an interception all year. And I really want to see how Seattle's defense is going to show up against one of the top offenses. This could be a Super Bowl rematch we see this year. Definitely going to be interesting to watch and see what happens. And I do think New England will win. If it was in Seattle, I think Seattle would win. So that would be a different story. But thank you guys for watching this video. Please like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Write a comment down below on what you'd like to see next. It's your boy Pickdroppers, and I'm out. Peace!